Hey guys, ButteryButters here, finally continuing my Mountain Blade tutorial that was interrupted due to me being sick and then me going on vacation. Anyway, I realized I didn't tell you how to actually make your own custom item in the last tutorial, so let's just do that now. Usual, find your directory, as per usual. Program files, usually 86, down to Steam. Again, stop hiding on me. And then Steam apps, common, Mountain Blade Warband, modules, native, okay, save config saved, accept, item editor. Okay, so now we're going to go with one-handed weapon again, and go ahead. This time we're going to make a bastard sword. I'm going to walk you through how to create your own weapon doing exactly what you want it to do. Now we're going to select long arming sword. Okay, now for you to create your own weapon, instead of editing these stats here, which is just going to edit the weapon, you're going to want to hit add. That creates a new form with the data used from item form 440, or whatever you have it selected to. I do want to continue. Now this is my new item, so I'm just going to call it something simple in the item ID. New sword. It automatically adds underscores for every space, so you don't need to. Let's just call it new sword. And new sword. There we are. Now, I want this to be a bastard sword, so one-handed weapon is clicked. It's merchandise. You need to select this in order for it to appear in stores. Now, two-handed primary and secondary. There we are. And penalty with shield, so it's not OP. Alright, so as you can see, it's got a one-handed thrust, overswing, slash left, and slash right. And now, in order for it to be a two-handed weapon, I need to click each of the two-handed traits right there. And we check down here, so we also have the parries available as a two-handed weapon. Now, I'm going to make it so it cannot have a negative modifier, only positive ones. And Masterwork is for armor, so let's forget that. Yep, just balanced and tempered. We're going to make this cost 12 grando. I'm going to make his abundance 200 so I can easily find it. Requires strength of 10. The difficulty usually is what makes it harder to use. Like, almost all armor has difficulty levels. For example, if I was making a shield and I made its difficulty 7, it would require a shield of 7 to use. Likewise, if I was making throwing weapons and I selected difficulty of 4, it would require 4 into power throw. Set the difficulty to 4 for a bow, it requires 4 for power draw, etc., etc. So this requires 10 strength to use. We're going to up its speed to 110, its cutting damage to 37, and its piercing damage to 32. And we're just going to make sure if you know what meshes you're using, you can add your own mesh name into here. I usually only do that with mods, since vanilla meshes are kind of ugly anyway. And then once you're done making sure everything you have is here, you can also set it to only certain factions can use this weapon, but I usually don't do that. It's too limiting, and you only want to do that if you're making it so that the item is a droppable item. So click Add Item, and new sword has been made. And now we're going to save changes, timestamp backup, yes, and exit. Now I'm going to create a new game of Mountain Blade, give myself money, and go to each store in the game until I find it, and if there is none, I'm just going to simulate ahead a few days. So I will see you guys when I am at that point in Mountain Blade. Alright, so after creating a new game and waiting 14 in-game days for the shops to refresh, it's ridiculous, I went to every single shop in the game. Finally, it's here. It costs 2200, 3732, 110, requires 10 strength, and actually, the only reason it's better than my other sword is because it's got increased speed. So, bow. Kabow. Anyway, yep. That's how you manage to, obviously get a custom weapon into the game. Now I'm going to show you how to make your own troops. Alright, I will be right back. Alright guys, we are back, and we're about to create our own troops. Kabow. And now we go to Troop Editor. Now, as you can see, these are all the in-game troops, all of them here, including all the ones that will appear in multiplayer, and all of the NPCs as well. This is where you can edit pretty much everyone, including the companions you will find in the game. So, Oh god, it's been a really long time since I've seen any of the companions, so I don't even know any of their names. Da 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 da. You can edit with the belligerent drunk has offer, by the way, which is awesome. Da da da. Where the hell are they? I know they're here somewhere. Don't worry, they're here. I know they're here. You can edit the lords and ladies as well, so if you want one of the ladies wearing armor, you can do that. Ah, here we are. See, Borcha, Menard, Ymira, Rolf, Bashantur, Ferentis, Deshava, Meteld, Aelin, Bunduk, Katrine, Yaramis, Nazir, Lazalt, Arteminer, and Kethli, or however you pronounce their names. Anyway, you can edit all of them so that their stats are more to your liking, so they don't all start at like level 2 or level 8 or something. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to create a even more overpowered Swadian unit, except it's going to be infantry. So, if you want to edit the troops from a specific faction, you usually want to type in their faction name, so Swadian, and filter. And here we are. Now, this is the Swadian Knight. He's the most overpowered unit in the game for the most part. You can see he's level 28. And the Swadian Man-at-Arms is also mounted. Where is he? Sergeant. There we are. No, he's also mounted. Fuck, where is it? Infantry. There we are. Oh, I already did some editing. I forgot about this. It was a botched recording that corrupted and I couldn't save it. I actually created a unit already, the Swadian Nomad. And I also created his own custom gear as well. Well, I might as well use that to save myself the trouble, but I will create... No, I'll create a new one. Anyway, this is Swadian Infantry, so we want to create a Swadian Foot Soldier with the equivalent stats of a Swadian Knight. So to do that, and we're not editing this right now, by the way, we will just go to Swadian Knight, and we'll hit add, the same way you would add an item. Now, this is the new troop, so we're going to rename it to Swadian Royal Guard. There we are. And now, just to save time, Control-C, Control-V, Control-V, and boom. Don't worry, these underscores won't actually show up in the item name. They're just there for, fuck's sake. Now, we're going to increase its strength and agility, and his one-handed weapons, and his two-handed weapons. Iron Flesh, we're going to bump up. Iron Power Strike, we're going to bump up. And Athletics is ridiculous, we're going to bump that up too. Now, male or female, you can choose which one. Hero, don't touch, that basically flags someone as a companion, and I don't know how to create custom companions since that's coded into the game. Mounted, you can choose, that flags whether or not they'll be listed in the game as a mounted unit. If you flag this and don't give them a horse, they'll cost the same as a mounted unit, but without a horse. So, boom, get rid of that. These are the guarantees, which means if these, any of these items are in their item pool, they will automatically equip at least one of these. So, if he has a horse in his item pool, he will automatically equip it. If he has a horse in his item pool and this is not checked, it's got about a 50-50 chance of making him mount it. Now, he's going to have everything else. So we're going to give him only the armor we want to give him. So let's delete items from inventory. And then you can filter out items. So let's go with plate. I misspelled the word plate. IR smirt. Now, coat of plates. No, let me go with heraldic. Here we are. Heraldic male with tunic. Tabard, surcoat. Let's go with male with tabard. There we are. Give him 3 of those, and then plate armor. That gives him about a 20% chance to spawn with plate armor, but the rest of the time he'll spawn with, obviously, heraldic mail. Now let's give him his gloves. So let's go with mittens. Male mittens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then gauntlets and Lamalier, since Lamalier is better. 20% chance to spawn with the better gauntlets. Now, plate boots, boom. Mail. Mail boots. I think male boots are better than male chassis. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we are. And now it's helmet. We're gonna go with where's the great helm? It is. I don't want to give him a winged helm. Great helmet. There we are. And then after that, let's just go with general helmets. Footman's. Where is it? I don't want serenade. Helm. There we are. That'll give me a better option. Which one do I want? The guard helmet's not bad. There we are. Decent chance to spawn with the great helmet. Now we want to give him weapons. So, since he's a royal guard, let's go with, let's just type in the word sword. Now, great sword, sword of war, two-handed sword, strange sword, new sword. See if the new weapons are there to be used. Let's give him the new sword. And, not a two-handed saber. Let's go with two-handed sword. Alright, next we want to give him a shield. And we want to give him the best possible shield, so... foot soldiers, generally the best bet is a board shield, since those take ridiculous punishment, but we'll give him a knightly heater shield, since I believe that goes with the crest, so kaboom. Alright, that gives him his stats, his skills, his guarantees, his flags, and his equipment. And he's added into the game now. We can't access him yet. Why not? Well, because he doesn't have an upgrade path yet. Now, normally the Swadian infantry goes into the Swadian sergeant, goes into the knight. As you can see. I don't know why he's listed as mounted, actually. Yeah, he's flagged as mounted, and he doesn't have... Get out of here. Alright, I don't know why he's flagged as mounted, because he does not have a horse in here. Anyway, Swadian infantry either goes into sergeant or nomad. Nomad is an elite infantry unit that can throw. Sergeant and where is it? Footman. Yep, footman goes into either infantry or man-at-arms. Man-at-arms goes into knight. So we want infantry to go into sergeant, to go into royal guard. Your new troops will always be at the bottom of this list. So, as you can see, troops 1 through 931. My two new units are 93 and 91. So, update troop. There we are. So basically what I just did is, to sum it up, I selected the unit that I wanted him to upgrade from. So the footman automatically goes into the man-at-arms or the infantry. The infantry always goes into either the sergeant or the nomad. And the nomad is the one I added. And then from sergeant, he goes into royal guard. If you don't do this, he can't be got since there's no upgrade to him. And there he is. He can't upgrade into anything. You can make him downgrade if you want to, but I don't see why you would. Anyway, save the changes. I'm going to go into my new game and grab a Swadian infantry recruit and upgrade him to show you. Just so you know, this is a bit of a thing I learned the hard way. If you add new troops into the game, and then you play from an existing save, it'll automatically update your game with increased forms. So that way, the new troops and items will be added in. If you delete those forms, if you delete the forms, the entire forms, it will cause save game conflicts and you'll have to add new forms in because every single item is referenced via form. So, let's say I added troop 931 into the game, and I saved the game and I played with it a little bit, and then I deleted form 931. Because the game no longer detects form 931, it will not load your save game. So, never, if you want something to become inaccessible, never delete it. Just unflag it as merchandise if it's an item, or get rid of its upgrade path if it's a troop. That way, that it'll no longer be available in the game, but the game will still recognize it as being in the game, and there will be no conflicts. Anyway, back to the game. Alright, hey guys, got the recruits I needed, so I'm going to show you just how that works. Okay. Now, in order to cheat the experience, when you have a unit selected, just hit Control X, it'll give them 1,000 experience points. So boom, let's just get all these guys ready to upgrade. And then we have Footman and Skirmisher, again, let's get them ready to upgrade. Alright, now we've got Man-at-Arm and Infantry now. So, let's give half of them Infantry and half of them Man-at-Arms. Alright, so as you can see, the men-at-arms only go into knights. Excuse me while I mash Control X here. Yep, nothing else. And as you can see, the infantry have a chance to go between the normal sergeant and nomads. So let's make 2 into sergeants, 2 into nomads. That's the nomad, and this is the sergeant, who now has a chance to go into Royal Guard. So let's just mash that, and boom, Royal Guard. Move up. There we are. So we have, as you can see, now we'll talk to him. This is the Royal Guard. You see he's got the coat of plates that I gave him, and he's got the 2-handed sword there. And the mail boots and the mail gloves. These are his stats, exactly as I gave them to him. And compare them to the Swadian Knight. There we are. As you can see, I probably should have increased his strength, since the strength is not on par with the Swadian Knight at all. The Swadian Knight is 14-14, he's only 8-8. And his proficiencies and skills are the same, but Swadian Knight, as you can see, has 14-14, and that one just had better proficiencies. See the nomad I made. You can see he looks very nomadic. See, he's got 14-18, 200 and 200 throwing. He has javelins. Yeah, I gave him 2 sets of javelins, so now we're going to go over editing a unit, because obviously I did not make the Royal Guard correctly because his stats aren't right. So, see you back at the editor. Alright guys, we're back in the editor, and there we are. Now to edit troop stats is exactly the same thing as editing an item, really. Now, we're going to edit this because he's a footman. We're going to edit this to 16 and his agility to 12. That way the knight has lower strength but higher agility. And then obviously let's just go ahead and make this 10 and 10. And that's really all I needed to do for the Swadian Knight, and then we just hit update troop and he's done. And for the Swadian Nomad, I should... That's weird. When I was in game, his agility was higher. I don't get it. That's weird. Anyway, Swadian. I want to take a look at the knight again. Yeah, the knight is 7 and 5, but in game it's 14-14. It's kind of odd. Anyway, let's just go ahead and save the changes. No. And it's gonna open Mountain Blade right here. No editing. I'll just cut it. I'll cut out all of those screens. Okay, guys, we're back, and as you can see, his stats are now correct. He's got 18 strength, 13 agility, and as we go to the knight, 14-14, and the nomad, 14-18. Now, it's very important to note that the only way that the changes you made to troops can take place is in a new game. So any changes you want to make to existing troops, you need to do before you want the game to start. Otherwise, you need to start a new game. New troops will automatically be added into your game, so you don't need to worry about that. But if you need to edit existing troops or troops you've created after you've started a playthrough, the changes will not be reflected until you start a new game. I learned that the very hard way. And I actually completely forgot about it while making this tutorial. I was wondering, why didn't the changes save? I was actually quite angry. Anyway, that concludes the creating troops and creating items tutorial. The next tutorial I will show you is how to add different troops into different parties' templates. Anyway, this has been ButteryButters signing off. If you enjoyed the video, please check out my channel for more. If you like them, make sure to subscribe for more. And if you liked it, of course, like the video, because that would really help me in figuring out what's happening with my channel. Anyway, take care, guys, and again, hope you enjoyed.